Shifting focus now to the Russia-Ukraine war, a fierce aerial warfare is underway between Russian and Ukrainian forces as the Russian troops make significant gains in Donetsk region. Ukrainian forces have carried out aerial attacks on Russia's important targets. In fact, the Ukrainian army has said it has conducted strikes on Russian command posts, personnel, military equipment and other important targets. A large-scale drone attack carried out by Ukraine on Russia on Wednesday triggered an earthquake-sized blast at a major armory in Russia's Tver region. And as a result, the Russian authorities were forced to evacuate a nearby town. Satellite images showed fire and smoke rising from the ammunition after the attack. NASA satellites also picked up the intense heat sources emanating from an area of about 14 square kilometers at the site. It's not just Ukraine launching aerial attacks, by the way. Russian forces also conducted strikes on Ukraine's key military communications facility, as well as a number of other high-priority targets. The Russian Defense Ministry has said that its warplanes, drones, missiles and artillery hit the center of Ukrainian forces' radio communications. The Russians also claimed to have struck a critical Ukrainian airfield infrastructure facility, although officials did not say where the center was located or what the extent of the damage really was. But Ukrainian media and officials reported several explosions in Kharkiv and Sumy, with several blasts also heard in Kiev. According to local officials, Russia struck Kharkiv with several ballistic missiles. Russia continues to carry out high-precision strikes on Ukraine's military installations, including mercenary bases, defense, industrial and energy facilities, while insisting that those attacks never target civilians. Last month, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed to have destroyed a command and control facility of one of Ukraine's mechanized brigades with an Iskander-M missile. Given Russia's air superiority, Ukraine has ramped up its drone production over the past 2 years. Ukraine, in fact, now has started using these drones to increase attacks on Russia, striking deeper and deeper into its neighbor's territory. Ukraine has relied heavily on drones to target Russia's military and energy infrastructure in a bid to disrupt Moscow's war machine. Ukraine's biggest ever drone attack targeted the Russian capital of Moscow this month itself, killing at least one person and wrecking homes and disrupting flights. Meanwhile, Russia continues to use airstrikes to target Ukraine, particularly aiming at energy infrastructure ahead of the winter season. In the last 2 days itself, Russian forces have attacked Ukraine with several missiles, launching 7 dozen kamikaze drones on the night of 19 to 20 September. Ukraine's air defense says that it destroyed at least 61 UAVs and 1 guided aircraft missile. Russia has also increased its production of missiles and drones as the war shows no signs of abating. In fact, on Thursday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that the country is set to receive 10 times more drones than it did last year. 10 times. Putin said that in 2023, the armed forces received nearly 140,000 drones of various types. 140,000. And this year, their production rate has gone up since significantly. He also announced that Moscow is expanding the range of unmanned systems and developing unmanned boats as well. For the past 2 years of the war, Russia has focused its strikes on targeting Ukraine's energy and power grid in a bid to cause a literal blackout. The International Energy Agency has said in its latest report that Ukraine is in for a rather tough winter. It estimated, in fact, that the war-battered country has lost more than 2/3 of its power production capacity since the outbreak of the war in 2022. You see, following the bombing of the Crimean Bridge, Russia started targeting Ukrainian energy infrastructure in late 2022. That has intensified this year. Russia has targeted Ukraine's power plants as well as distribution facilities in response to Ukraine's campaign of drone strikes on Russian oil refineries and storage depots. The attacks have caused a major upset for Ukraine, by the way. This year's wave of attacks has put Ukraine's ability to generate power during peak demand this winter in jeopardy. Today, European Commission head Ursula von der Leyen arrived in Kiev with a plan to discuss the energy situation in person with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. While Russia maintains that its strikes are not aimed at civilians, the Russian Defense Ministry says that its goal of targeting energy infrastructure is to cripple Ukrainian arms production and its capability to deploy new troops to the front line. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.